Mainly, he's the one who does profiles for us. That is creating intelligence and supporting us throughout the investigation process. And we work very closely to make sure that everything is wrapped together. Because I don't want to repeat what Daniel and Saidimu have said, I'll just talk about the new development in KRA. We have just had a political transition. So we have a new political dispensation. And we've been challenged as investigation to ensure that we carry out investigation in facilitative and with a human face. So, and the challenge we all have is, I don't know who would want to be investigated here. I'm sure we all would, even having the internal audit reviewing our work, is it? So now you can imagine the environment of a tax investigator. And the perception out there by most taxpayers that any investigation is not advised by the need to collect revenue. They believe that there must be other forces trying to push investigation. So in our new dispensation, one of the things we've done, we used to have officers from Director of Criminal Investigation seconded to Investigation Department or to KRA to support the investigation process, to perform the peripheral roles of enforcing tax investigation. However, effective last month, we have disengaged with the Revenue Protection Service, and we are trying to look at how do we come up with tax-friendly investigation or force. So we are now in the process of trying to see how we can have our own officers who can exercise the power of police officers. Because although the law gives us the power to exercise the power of police officers, operationalizing that is not easy. Because, for example, in Kenya, it's only a police officer who can carry firearm. It's only a police officer who can carry handcuffs. It's only a police officer who can process the scene of crime. It's only a police officer who can exercise those powers. So we are transiting to look at how best do we come with that. And this is because we want anything to do with the tax. It's the core mandate of KRA to deal with it from the beginning to the end. So we disengaged with them the last month. We are still trying to look at what else we need to do. Previously, our focus was to support revenue commissioners. That is Commissioner Domestic Taxes and Commissioner Customs. To support them in terms of ensuring that there is integrity in the whole tax process. The tax system and how their officers carry out audit and compliance test. So we do not have anything to do with revenue targets. Our role was simply what we used to call detect, deter, and disrupt. The 3 Ds, you detect a crime, you deter it, and then you disrupt. the cartels, using what we are calling investigate, prosecute, and publicize. But now we realize that the current administration want us to get directly involved in revenue mobilization. So again, effective from this month, our officers now are supposed to have revenue target. So they are supposed to ensure that they also bring money, because our entire target has been increased. So we are all trying to mobilize revenue in whichever way we can. So we are now back with supporting now direct revenue, other than what it was before. So we are still overseeing this transition to see how it works. Then there have been this program we call Tax Inspectors Without Borders. This is part of the OECD program, and I think the last meeting we had, unfortunately, that meeting was only KRA and URA. That's why I say this is a great meeting, because we are all here. That time we were focusing on looking at infrastructure, and specifically the roads construction. And we are asking ourselves, as revenue authorities, the government has spent billions and billions of shillings in these projects for the last few years. How much tax are we collecting? How are those contracts structured? What are key areas as a region we can look into to make sure that we have the fair share of our taxes? So we've been working as KRA, I don't know whether URA have been doing that, with OECD, and we've done a lot of capacity building. We are now just about to commence on-site. They are giving us 2 Indians to come and help us look at the sector, at the sector. And we had agreed this will be a regional program, and we see how it works. So Kenya, we've had a lot of progress in this area, and we are looking forward to commence in 2 months' time. We also had a lot of capacity building online programs, even during COVID. So we've continued with this program. And hopefully, we are going to share our experiences with the regional authorities, so that we can see where we can. Of course, I saw somebody will be talking about the maturity model of the 10 global principles to see where we are and what we are doing. I thought also I would talk about what challenges, different from what Daniel said, what challenges as people responsible for this tough job we face, and what are we supposed to do to ensure that we are effective and efficient. What should the Commissioner for Investigation do different from Commissioner of Customs and different from Commissioner of Domestic Taxes? What is it we need to do to ensure that there is no competition? We are complementing each other. What is it we need to do to ensure that the commissioners we support can escalate cases to us and feel we are supporting them. I think that's a challenge as this forum we need to address ourselves too. I think as commissioners investigations, we need to make sure that we are fully aligned with the top leadership, with the management of the authority. Fully aligned with the Commissioner General, fully aligned with the board, fully aligned with the political leadership. Because our actions sometimes are very disruptive. And the people we touch are likely to water down everything we do if we are not properly aligned. So we need very good alignment to ensure that whatever we do, we have support across the board. And therefore, it is very important that we are able to discuss even our work plan, even our targets with the leadership, so that you will avoid situations where you are on the ground, Commissioner Domestic Taxes, Commissioner Customs in the ground, and you start crowding against one taxpayer. So we need to make sure there is that alignment. Then we need to ensure that there is proper teamwork, even within our units, so that we are not pulling in different directions. Then we need a lot of support from the criminal justice system, because the purpose for any investigations is to ensure that there are criminal sanctions. Because if you look, for example, at KRA, we have more than 80,000 plus staff. But the staff for investigation, we are on 120. That's a very small number. So for us to be effective, we must make sure that we are working well with judiciary. We are working well, like in our case with judiciary, Director of Public Prosecutions, and also the police. So that judiciary understands our role as a role to creating deterrence, not as a role to take a case and they tell you go and agree. Then we need to be careful when we are dealing with the so-called PEPs, the politically exposed persons. So that before we touch their cases, we have collected enough evidence which demonstrates that there is complete, deliberate, willful to defeat revenue. Because once you have that properly, then, because those people are capable of making a lot of noise and are capable of, bringing your department to zero. But once you've corrected enough intelligence, once you have professional approach, then they will have nowhere to go. Even when they go there, they'll be told, pay your taxes. So we need to be very careful as we engage those people. We don't engage them for the sake of engaging. We engage them when we have very, very good cases. Then again, we need to carry out our investigation in timely manner. Because you can carry investigation for 2-3 years. By the time you are completing the investigation, there are no assets to attach. You can never enjoy the fruit of whatever judgment. Because these criminals or people who run criminal-like enterprises, in their mind, they are very clear. They will never want to pay taxes. So you drag them through the whole court process, but you never correct a penny. So we must make sure that we do our work within the shortest time possible, and the revenue is protected to ensure that there is no abuse of a court process and the assets are not stripped during the course of investigation. And again, finally, we need to have very competent staff. Very competent staff. We need to ensure that when staff are being transferred to investigation, they are properly trained, they are properly vetted, they have the right capacity and the right attitude to do the job. So they have what it takes. Not everybody can do investigation, because it's not a nice thing, but we must do it. We must have staff that when they are threatened, they don't pull back. They are able to engage in a professional manner without fear. I'm sure those who have been in this field for some time, like myself, you have received threats. Threats, intimidation, what? But we have the right staff. The integrity is unquestionable. They have the right skills. They have nothing to fear. Like in KRA, before any staff is moved to I&A, he must pass through SIDIMOS vetting process. So if there are incidences of, if your integrity is questionable, then that's a reason good enough to make sure you are not promoted or you don't join investigation, because it's taken a lot of time to build the department, and would want that to remain. With those many remarks, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for those remarks and highlighting key things that we must be cognizant of if we really must have strong investigation arm in our revenue administrations. And I think it's a challenge that all of us have picked, and I think it is something that each administration needs to think of and reflect. Do we have such standards? Like I hear what KRA has actually established. Proper teamwork. Alignment to the three key things that many times challenges us. The political leaders, the Commissioner General's dream, vision, the board. And we agree with you that if you don't have that strong backing, it is a very challenging thing for tax investigation to do what is required of them. Support from other agencies for us to do our work. I made mention the police. I was thinking of our own, even the army must support you in doing this. The judiciary, being careful with the PEPs. I think that's a common thing that we share across the region. The politically exposed persons. Timely investigation. I think I loved that. How long do we take to finish our investigation? And by the time you finish, is the status quo, has it already changed? Or the tricks have changed? So by the time you're finishing, the guys have designed a new scheme. You think you've hit them, they've run ahead of you. How prepared are we? And how do we position ourselves to actually act timely and not to give room for them to change their tricks? Competent staff, we really appreciate that, because when the staff are wanting, you will struggle. One thing I picked also, the fact that you must conduct investigation with a human face. I was laughing at myself. With a human face. Investigation. An investigator with a human face. You're interviewing, you're interrogating with a human face. That one you really need to do some serious reflection, and I believe it must be challenging, because the way we were doing our investigation was the other way. I don't know what face we were carrying that time. So coming up with a human face is quite a challenging one, but I know it can be done. It can be done. And we want to see how we can actually change that face. Thank you very much, Doctor. And there are many other important points that he raised that I don't want to go into them, and I believe all of us have picked them. Thank you, and I want to give opportunity to another commissioner, tax investigations and intelligence, OBR, to give us his opening remarks. Mr. Jean Bachman, I welcome you, sir. Let's clap as he comes. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you, everybody. My name is Mr. Niyonzima Jean Berkmans. A very difficult pronunciation for Madam. First of all, I present my apologies for my poor English. I'm not good in English. I'm speaking French, but I try all my best to discuss with everybody in English, and I think that it is good to be bilingual, and I invite you to be French-speaking too. Okay, dear commissioners of investigation from our respective revenue authorities, ladies and gentlemen, members of different technical subcommittees, good morning. It is my pleasure today to attend this important appointment of our Commissioners Forum Tax Investigation after the COVID-19 outbreak that resulted in cancellation of many planned physical meetings. I'm confident that the interaction that we are going to have in the 2 coming days will lead us to fruitful deliberations. As we have 2 days ahead, as we have 2 days ahead, I invite all of us to give contributions that will enhance the performances of our respective revenue authorities with regard to compliance of our taxpayer and the fighting against tax evasion. Any officer from investigation or intelligence department is aware of existing threats undermining the revenue collection, such as misdeclaration, under-evaluation, tech documents supporting tax filing, absence of mandatory periodic declaration, dumping of sensible commodities, risk associated with transfer pricing, cheap and linked business, digital economy, to name new among others. I know that we are going to have many presentations from our technical experts. I'm confident that we will able to contribute and give necessary guidance accordingly. I was informed that the first cohort under the investigation training curriculum has been launched for English-speaking countries. I take this opportunity to request the extension of the training to all other revenue authorities to harmonize and align to the same standards the investigation skills of our respective officers. Without taking a lot of time, I would like to thank the Uganda Revenue Authority to the warm welcome and to the hosting this critical meeting is in preparation of the ARCG's meeting in the upcoming days. Resolutions and deliberation that we will come up should enhance our revenue authorities' capabilities to handle joint or regional investigation cases efficiently. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Merci. I think that's wrong. That's right, yeah? Merci. I think that by the time I leave, I should learn how to pronounce your name. The way you pronounced it, I think I didn't get it yet. So thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Mr. Gilles. Yes, that one, and I end on that one. He highlighted a few things that they're looking at, and of course that plays across the region. The issues of misdeclaration, under-declaration, the dumping, and we talk about dumping, we think about the cross-border activities, digital economy, transfer pricing. He made mention that there is a curriculum that has been enrolled and being interested that should go across the region. Just to update us that we shall be getting an update on the capacity building in regards to what is available and what has been happening and how the entire revenue administrations, the tax investigation arm can benefit. So we should be getting that update in a short while, either today or tomorrow. And of course, he concluded by saying that this engagement should materialize in having successful joint investigation. So I want to thank you so much, sir. And the next person that I'm going to invite, I'm afraid I left my piece of paper. If it is okay, I can pick it up. Yes, okay, thank you. Thank you. So I believe we are picking ideas, issues to deal with from the remarks the commissioners are giving us. And I believe the technical committee and more so our rapporteur are picking up the key issues that are coming out, which will form probably part of the areas we should agree to work on. I take this opportunity to invite, I'm afraid I forgot his name, but the name here, the representative from Rwanda, I beg your pardon, you forgive me, is coming representing Mr. Charles Kagame, who was not able to come here, but is coming to give us his remark. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, commissioners. My name is Emmanuel Tekiman, representing the Assistant Commissioner, Mr. Charles Kagame, who was given an emergency special assignment just yesterday at the last time when we were about to come here. And that was the time I became his representative. And I'm happy to represent him. Happy New Year to everyone. Maybe before I continue, I can share experience before joining this forum and experience after joining this forum. Before joining this forum, our department was working in isolation, I can say that, because we're handling only cases, fraud cases found domestic cases. When it comes to cross-border trade, we have had challenges of getting information, of getting data. That is before. Maybe a hierarchy on our department, the RRA, the Rwanda Revenue Authority, was given a mandate by the government to investigate tax crime cases. Then that mandate was cascaded to our Department of Intelligence and Investigation, where we have 3 units. One unit is dealing with surveillance and patrol. The other one is dealing with intelligence, collecting intelligence information. And the third one is investigation unit, dealing with investigation of individual cases or business traders or sectors. As I told you, we had challenges before, but after joining this forum, we have benefited a lot as bilateral or together as all countries. Maybe as examples, I can tell you an example of one case where TRA shared information with us. It was about smuggling of alcohol drinks from Dubai, then TRA, then the Dar es Salaam port, then to Rwanda. We have recovered around 4 billion on one case. That's an example. We have so many exchange of information with TRA, with KRA. We shared information on ethanol. We got a lot of information and we recovered taxes and we prosecuted some offenders, but we still have a challenge because even though we have joined the forum, we have been handling cases on information request, not as a joint investigation. Now we have come up with the proposal, which should be highlighted in the next presentation about joint investigation, where we show you some sectors. I will just be saying about some benefits. We have got a help from URA about trainings on intelligence and investigation courses. It was about, it was maybe in 1917 or 18, I don't remember well. We got training from URA, joint with URA. Again, with the help of URA, joint with ATAF, some officers got training again on intelligence and investigation. I also want to thank URA for their good hospitality and participation in this forum. I also want to thank my fellow delegates from all ESC countries for their participation and achievement. I also thank various members of technical committees for their good work. I also thank all revenue authorities for their contribution to this work. Together, we have started an important and difficult mission in combating or fighting against smuggling, fraud, tax crime, tax evasion of all kinds across the region. We are happy with the achievement so far made, but we still have a long way to go. That's why we are here. I think this meeting, the outcome of this meeting will be fruitful and constructive. As Rwanda, we are very committed to collaborate towards the achievement of the common vision, mission, and objective of this forum. With God on our side, together as ESC countries and other stakeholders like ATAF and others, we can achieve more. With that, I submit commissioners. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your remarks. It was a short notice for you to come and represent, but you represented well. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, he emphasizes the fact that we cannot do this alone. Highlighted success stories on how they worked closely with RA, registering recovery of 4 billion. Was it US dollars? Franc? Rwanda franc, okay. But that was immense recovery. And of course, he highlighted the area of staff capacity, training, and we are glad that we have a representative from ATAF that will be able to share with us what has been done, what is there for us. So we appreciate that. The challenges are common across smuggling, different schemes, which we must deal with collaboratively. This cannot be done alone, and that's why this forum, there is hope that we should be able, to a greater extent, minimize tax crime in this region. Thank you very much. So I know we've sat quite a long time now, but you'll bear with me so that we finish remarks from the commissioners, and then we should be able to stretch a little. I'll take this opportunity to welcome Honorable Joyce William Wani, representing the Commissioner Tax Investigation, South Sudan, the National Revenue Authority, to come and give us our opening remarks. Welcome, Madam. Let's clap for her as she comes.
Commissioners, tax investigation of the various NRAs, working groups, URA staff, media houses, organizers of this meeting. Good morning to everyone. Yeah. I stand here this moment and I feel honored today to give these remarks. I thank URA for the cordial and warm welcome and the hospitality that it gave to us since day one we arrived here. My colleague and I am for the first time attending such an important meeting of tax investigation. South Sudan is a member of one of the important technical committees, that is the ERATI, the East African Revenue Authorities Technical Committee on Integrity. And for the first time, it hosted this important meeting last year, October 27th to 29th, October 2022. Recently, when I read almost the same abbreviation, but just the difference is in the C coming before, before the I. Then me and my colleagues, we say, no, what is this again? We don't know this one. But again, now when we investigated and read about the, I read the invitation very well to understand it, we came to find that instead of technical, it is now tax investigation. So we had to take time to acquaint ourselves to understand it. Okay, we are from the South Sudan Revenue Authority. South Sudan Revenue Authority, as you know, is still on its establishment stage. But we don't say we are still there. We are trying now to move out from establishment to operationalize the authority. The Internal Affairs Division that I'm now heading is still also new. It's about 7 months old. It used not to be there. Now we have only 2 departments under the Internal Affairs Division. And my title is Acting Commissioner for Internal Affairs. Right now, the Revenue Authority, we don't have permanent positions yet. All the positions are acting. So, under me, I have 2 assistant commissioners of the 2 departments. Commissioner for Ethics, I mean assistant commissioner, not commissioner, sorry. Assistant commissioner for Ethics and assistant commissioner for Investigation. And each of them has only 1 staff under them. which means in these two departments, there are 2 staff each. Yes. At the moment, we are trying to familiarize. We are trying to familiarize with the legal policies, frameworks, the NRA organizational structure, and also the duties and functions and the other businesses necessary or policies. I mean, we are trying also to come up with smaller policies from the HR manual to at least do our work. The investigation team is seriously researching and trying to learn from best practices. That's why we are here. And in fact, because it was sudden, and we are coming, actually, the one we know is that we are escorting our Commissioner General for the CG's meeting, that is 16-17. But again, when we approached him with this meeting, which is very interesting, and we are eager for this, he had to recommend and say, please, you go before that. We have to come before them. So that's why we are here, to attend it. Otherwise, I would have come along with the Assistant Commissioner for Investigation, for him also to learn more. Yeah. Okay. We have some of our laws that are already passed, like, for example, the NRA Act 2013, plus our strategic plan. But other laws like the Code of Conduct, staff regulations, other acts, they are not yet. They're still under procedures to be passed as a fully working document. I mean, laws. So in the strategic plan, that gives us the direction, having a vision, a mission statement, the objectives, and then the initiatives. So we are working on coming up with our activities for the internal affairs. We know that we alone will not do anything. But with you, and the way I've seen, I know that we are not going to struggle to get there. But you will be with us, as we'll keep on engaging also to have some benchmarking, some trainings, to get our staff to be attached, maybe also to your NRS, I mean RS, so that they learn more. This one will not be in our hands, but as we are trying also to bring it up to our commissioner, so that our commissioner will be the right person to also talk to your commissioners, so we be able to build ourselves and build our region collectively. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Joyce, the Acting Commissioner for Internal Affairs. I think now that's the right title. Thank you so much for your remarks, and we appreciate that you are at the establishment stage. And if I may echo what one of the commissioner generals in the region said, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. If the neighbor has done it, go see what they've done, pick it, copy and paste, and do it. And I want to assure you that you are in the right forum. The support that you need, I believe the commissioners here present will be able to extend to the South Sudan. So we welcome you and we thank you for responding to our invitation. It was short notice, and we appreciate you for understanding the difference between this meeting and the one that you had. So for purposes of just respecting a request that came from your colleague, he's requested me to add on your remark probably two or three comments that would add value to this engagement. So I want to invite Dut to make his remark. Solomon, you could give him a microphone there? Yes, please.
Good morning, colleagues, again. Just for the sake of time, I'm not going to repeat what the Commissioner for Internal Affairs has mentioned. Just wanted to add a few points. As I said earlier, that our revenue authority is not organized just like the other revenue authorities. There are so many gray areas. So most of the investigation is being done by the legal affairs people. If the legal affairs people came here, you will get some information, more information. But just for the sake of your understanding of what's going on, there have been a lot of people who have been investigated, around 25. Out of that, there are people who are still in jail up to now because of this illicit taxation. People are enriching themselves by themselves.
Okay.
And as Dr. Edward mentioned about the PEPs, those who are still being investigated, some are getting themselves out of the situation, and they are just not inside the jail, but they are out, bailed out. And the other people who do the investigation are the economic crime unit. Now, the legal affairs, they come from Ministry of Justice. The intelligence, they are co-opted from the national security. So those guys, they have been the one doing independent, and then our challenge is we don't have very clear-cut policies. So there's a lot of clashes. Sometimes there's no clear-cut between the job of integrity and the one of investigation. The legal affairs, there was some information when we went for the Arakti meeting to collect some information, statistics of investigation and crime. The legal affairs, they take it like their monopoly. They do not like to release to us the information. But slowly, using our audit tactics, we're able to solicit some information. And that's how we did some presentation in the last meeting.
Okay.
So with that, we would like to see how this forum can assist so that we get the way forward in future.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dut. We appreciate. And indeed, you are in the right forum. We should be able to leave this place with a clear way on how you're going to direct the tax investigation business in South Sudan. Thank you so much. So finally, I would love to invite Commissioner Tax Investigation, TRA, Mr. Everest Bashiba, to come and give his remark. Welcome, sir. God clap for him as well as he comes.
Thank you. My fellow commissioners, managers, and other participants, a very good morning. Habari ya subuhi. That one sounds better. Yeah. I'm very honored, truly, to be part of this meeting today. I remember the last time I participated this meeting, that was, I think 5 years ago in Kigali. Mr. Karanja, you were there. Dr. Saidim, you were there. I think Emmanuel also, I remember, and some other few guys here. So, yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy to be here. First of all, let me appreciate the presence of the commissioners, managers, the members of tax investigation fraternity, and non-tax investigators present here today. Also, I would like to congratulate the URA for hosting this meeting. Very nice one. But if I wouldn't mention this, I think I wouldn't be, I would be, I wouldn't be doing any good to these people here, beautiful people, the ERCTI technical committee who has made this possible by organizing this 11th ERCTI meeting. So I congratulate you too. Now, briefly, let me talk about an effective collaboration between the tax investigations department in the region. But before I do that, let me just give you a brief history of the TID department of the TRA. I remember when I joined TID, that was, I think, way back, like 23 years ago or so. When I joined TID, then it wasn't a TID we saw today. The investigation was the unit in a revenue department. But now we have a department which is which deals with the tax evasion and the like. For the new, I would say the newcomers, like you're trying to organize your department, it's very important to see that you have the demarcation between audit and investigation so that things can be smoothly done. I'm saying this because we have, in the region, we have the advantage of having the common law, that is the East African Community Customs Management Act. It's common. We have, out of that, we investigate offenses basing to that law. And I'll call those the advantage of going to the situation when we can work together. That's why I'm saying these are advantages. And on top of that, the scheme the evaders are using are the same in the region. So we need to have an effective collaboration. But what does it take to have an effective collaboration? if you ask me, first I will tell you, we need to have a standard investigation in the region. And what is that standard investigation? We can only have standard investigation if we build the capacity of our investigator using the curriculum which is been designed to fit the region. We use tools designed for the purpose in the region. So I'm happy that I saw one of these. There are manuals, I think, the handbooks, which have been prepared. I don't know at what stage they are now. Maybe you let us know so that we can discuss that further. Yeah. I know there are a few things which need to be discussed as well, because the law, the East African Customs Management Act, provides powers of investigator, right? They say that the officer shall be arresting people. I don't know, how are you going to arrest with a professional face like that? And you talk to him professionally, and then let's go, I'll take you in. So I think something has to be done in terms of our laws, because I tell you, you cannot investigate a crime without having those powers you need to have, because most of criminals, they are crooks. So you just don't tell him, you come with me, because I'm trying to go there and assess the amount of money you have evaded, and he said, yeah, let me go, let me come with you. So we need to have something on top of that. Yeah, I tell you this because, of course, what do we do at TRA? We do criminal investigation. And we do this because we know the law is not in our favor. We do it in collaboration with police. So if we want to take someone in, we'll arrest him using the police. And then we use the police custody. We want that guy, we go there, or we interrogate him, and then we leave him there at the custody. And after that, we use the DPPs, because we have our own prosecutor as well. But again, we use the DPP, because sometimes you find that this guy will be charged in different offenses. Some of them, the money laundering things, of which is not our mandate. So we need to have a state attorney for that purpose. So we collaborate with them as well. And I tell you, this one is, for compliance, it serves well. Because you do audit, the end of the result is he will make payments. And I won't feel, that pinch with the interest, the penalties for a tax evader. It's not much. So something has to be done more so that to enforce compliance. And the investigation is about that. So at TRA, audit is the function of the department, different from tax investigation. So what do? because we start with investigating an offense. At the end of the day, if we see that that investigation, we see no intent, we will transfer that to the Revenue Department for collection of the amount which was not paid. But if we see there is an intent, then we proceed. At the end, we prosecute the case. With that, there are a few issues. I refer again to Dr. Karanja said amendment of laws. In Tanzania, I think that was last year, in our legal system, of course, there was an amendment of the Criminal Procedure Act, where we introduced a plea bargain. To me, a plea bargain, it's like you tell someone, again, with the assessment, you ask him, are you willing to pay? The question I should asked earlier when I started the investigation, and I couldn't have wasted much of the time. I could have transferred the case to the Revenue Department for collection. So to me, a plea bargain at that stage is a waste. So, well, not the case which comes from investigation can be bargained at that stage. Because again, the DPP doesn't have mandate to issue assessment, then what is he going to bargain if he cannot issue assessment? So I think there are some issues, if you're interested into that, they are supposed to be looked into. The DPP has its mandate. The Commissioner General in that regard is the one who is mandated to assess. And then you send someone to bargain. And then, I don't know. I just throw it to you so that if we get time, we can get different opinion from members. Yeah. Another thing I would like to discuss is issue of sharing information. I know, and I believe we have been doing this. Emmanuel has just mentioned, but we have done that with some cases with Kenya Revenue Authority as well. I think Uganda mentioned them, but I believe so. I happen to saw those communications. So, and that one is a very important thing because a well-investigated case need to have information or intelligence which was well analyzed and disseminated. So I believe we should enhance our units so that we have quality information. Yeah, I know some of the departments in the region have been requested information from the business intelligence of TRA, and we have done so. And I urge you as well to continue doing that, so that at the end of the day, we achieve our goal. I'm saying this because if you are left out, we have a common enemy. If you are left out, I tell you, these guys will make your place a playing ground, because they'll move from all the other strict areas and they'll come to you. So that's why I'm saying we need the standards. We need to be part of these, share information, but have same quality of skills, knowledge, so that we fight this together. So talking about that, I'll just briefly talk about capacity building. As I've mentioned earlier, that I understand we have the curriculum. I don't know the status now, but I would think that that one should be completed so that it's taken aboard. Our investigators are impacted with the required knowledge and the skills so that we fight our enemy. With these few remarks, once again, I would like to thank you, CTI URA, for this beautiful organized meeting. And I hope that we will discuss and have a fruitful deliberations at the end of the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Asante sana. Asante sana. Yes, Mr. Everest, I was calling him Everest, but I was corrected, the spelling I think is different. So I don't know whether the pronunciation is the same or different. Everest. Thank you very much, Commissioner. He highlighted very profound things that I just want to re-echo. He talked about effective collaboration. If we really must be effective in our working together, having a joint investigation, we must have a strong supporting legal framework. The different administrations have got different laws, but he made mention of the common one, the IACMA, that we all ascribe to. Once we have that and supported with common tools, the handbooks, the manuals, the tools that govern our business, we should be able to effectively handle joint investigation and deal with the challenge of economic crime. He highlighted that the schemes are common. The schemes are common, so we must have common tools, common standards that we all ascribe to enable us mitigate these challenges. He also highlighted that there should be a clear distinction between audit and investigation. Meaning investigators should not be handling matters that do not indicate elements of crime, or where there is no evidence of willingness in committing of those crimes, such cases should be referred to audit so that we don't waste time in that. So that distinction is very key. And even as we partner, even as we work jointly, there should be that a common appreciation. Equally, again, emphasize the fact that you must have a strong relationship with other agencies, despite the fact that other administrations, there are certain activities that you may not perform because of the restrictions in the laws, but then partnering with other government agencies like the DPP, the police, will support you to do that work, though there is need to harmonize the laws, the legal framework that will support the business. Information exchange of information is critical. We cannot investigate effectively if you're not having your hands on the required information. So this forum is basically to strengthen that partnership that will be able to get information across the region. And of course, that effective collaboration must be supported by strong, qualified staff, capacity building. What level are they across the region? Do we have a common curriculum that every staff under the investigation and intelligence have access to, so that we have that same level of understanding and measuring the staff capabilities? Thank you very much, sir, and many other issues that he highlighted. The plea bargain, I must mention that as Uganda Revenue Authority, we have that equally, and I could hear you when you remark and say you begin going on the table to negotiate after you begin saying, can you pay this? And yet this person is a suspect that ought to be going behind bars, but you're on the table, trying to say, now you pay this. Plea bargain, it is a give and what? A give and take. Can that be a practice that really can facilitate investigation? A thought on that. So as we continue in our discussion, those are the issues that have come through. So the commissioners have made their remarks, and I think we've picked issues that have come through that will be part of the areas we'll be able to discuss and harmonize our way forward and going forward at the end of our 2-day engagement. I think we've now come to a point where the media house can take their leave. We want to thank you so much, the media representatives from the different media houses. We appreciate you, and I believe that you've been able to appreciate why the commissioners' tax investigation in the East African community region is meeting today. We are putting our minds together on how we can improve and how we can support each other in fighting economic crime. And of course, at the end, being able to enhance and improve revenue collection across the region. So I want to appreciate you. For any clarification, please be free to contact our representative, the Assistant Commissioner, Public and Corporate Affairs, where you need clarity so that you're able to air out the correct information. We appreciate you. As we see from our program, we're supposed to have a presentation giving us the overview of the ERA CTI, the proposed changes, so that we have a kind of discussion and see whether we are able to confirm or add on the proposals. But looking at the time, it's almost 12:30. I hope I'm right. It's 12:30, and the time we have scheduled for this presentation and immediate discussion thereafter may not suffice. And I was proposing that we would break off for an early lunch, so that when we come, now we go into the technical presentations and then open up the room for discussion, and as we move forward. If there is no okay. So from here we are going to Amber Restaurant. We should be able to direct you there. We shall have our lunch at Amber Restaurant, and we should be back here. Okay. And we should be back here by 2. We should be back here by 2. We are redeeming the time. We are going 30 minutes early, so I must redeem my time. I'm not going to give you up to 2:30. So we go and we come back at 2, so that we are able to use our time effectively. You'll be given coupons, so that when you reach there, you quickly pick your lunch, and we shall be back. Shall we pray? Father, we want to thank you for what we have been able to achieve this morning. Even as we break out for lunch, we commit the meals, the drinks into your hands, and Lord, you sanctify them. As we partake of it, may it empower us. May we get all the nourishment that we need, that will strengthen us to continue with this engagement. We thank you and we bless you. In Jesus' name we have prayed. Amen. Amen. Bon appetit. Uh-huh.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.